Welcome to my off-grid adventures. I'm Frank, this is my puppy partner Pumpkin, and we're glad that you're here with us today. Today we're going to talk about RV locks, specifically the RV door locks that are keyless or remote or Bluetooth or so many different types that are out there. First of all, why would you even change or upgrade your RV's locks? One of the main reasons is that a lot of these are key to like. So there are a lot of trailers that use the same key, and if someone else tries to get into your RV with their key, it just might open it. So I wanted to change it just for that reason. So I did some research and I decided to go with what was the most popular and highest reviewed RV lock, and that is from RVLock.com. I purchased a set of two that were key to like, and I installed them on my RV, I believe over a year ago now. And I'm replacing them again, and I want to explain to you why I'm not happy with the RV lock. And I decided to go with one that I hadn't heard of the brand before, but it has the features that I wish the RV lock had. So I'm going to replace just one of them, the main door that we use, with this RV E-Lock by RVNovus. And then I'm going to replace the secondary door that we don't use nearly as often with just one of these standard Kori RV door locks that is not digital, has no bells and whistles. It's just a nice all metal lock that had good reviews on Amazon. So let me unbox this with you, and then we're going to install it, and we'll see if it works better than the RV lock. The packaging says true keyless, the only solution on the market. Upgrade your RV with fully keyless e-locks. Well, clearly this isn't the only solution with a keyless entry door lock on the market. There are quite a few others, but again, RVLock.com seems to have the majority of market share in this space. Before I open this and show you what we have here and then install it on the RV, I want to tell you why it is that I'm unhappy with the RV lock. So there are a few reasons why I am very unhappy with the RV lock that I purchased. First of all is that the inside components of the lock are almost entirely plastic. And you need to have a good firm grip on that handle when you're swinging these doors shut. I don't know of an RV door that opens and shuts smoothly. It's always a little bit of a task to get it to latch. So you need to have that leverage and not feel like you're going to break it, or just not even be able to give it the pull with the strength that you need to because it's all plastic inside. And this one here is all metal. At least that's what everybody says that it is. We'll see it in a moment when we unbox it. The other issue that I have with the RV lock is that the code or the fob only operates the deadbolt. It doesn't operate the latch. And I would rather have both of them lock at the same time. It just gives you a little more security because people can't start the process of opening it and then wrench on it with that leverage of having that latch open just a little bit. So it always bothered me that I couldn't lock both of the locks and unlock both of the locks with one code or with one push of a button on the fob. This one claims to be able to lock both. The third reason why I'm replacing my RVLock.com lock is that the key fob broke within the first year, and I ordered a replacement, and that just doesn't work well at all. So I wanted to be able to use the key fob. It's something that is super convenient and just very handy to be able to have that, especially with winter coming soon. It's really convenient to be able to pull into the area and within the comfort of your heated car, unlock the RV door, and then come up to the RV and get right in instead of having to fiddle with your keys or enter a code while you have snow falling or you're carrying your groceries or whatever. So I want the fob to work, and this one has a different looking fob as you can see on the box. It's a small circle and it comes with two, I think. This is the remote fob that came with it, and it operates both of the two locks that I have for these doors. I always found this confusing. I didn't know which one to push. It's clearly labeled there, but I was always pushing the wrong one for the wrong door. And then this failed and stopped working. So I bought their replacement, which is this one. And though it looks nicer, this is a horrible design. And if you look at the reviews on Amazon, you'll see the same thing that I'm about to tell you. these buttons are so high, they're not recessed enough into this. So you could never have this in your pocket, and that's usually where I would put a remote like this, is in my pocket, because if you do so, it's going to trigger and lock your door. So if you just put this in your pocket and just move around at all, it's going to hit one of those buttons and lock or unlock a door that you don't want to have locked or unlocked. But I found that it does that even when it's not in your pocket. I used this hook to put it on my belt loop. I put it on a satchel that I carry so that it didn't have as much places where it would touch things, and it still kept locking and unlocking it. It could work if there was a way to like press and hold one of these and then it freezes all 4 of them until you do a sequence to unlock it or something, but that isn't available. It's a terrible design, and it was an expensive extra remote to purchase. So I am unhappy with the experience of the remotes, and I haven't been using it at all. I've just either been using the key or the code on the lock. There is somewhat of a insignificant 4th thing that I didn't like about the RVLock that I had purchased before, and that is that the number pad only goes from 1 to 9 and there's no 0. I just like to have all 10 options when setting up a code, and it also was quite a finicky pad. You had to press them at a certain speed. If you went too fast or too slow, it wouldn't work. And it was sometimes easy, especially with gloves on, since the 2 numbers share the same button. You had to make sure you pressed the right side of the button. So it was a little bit finicky to use. I would say 1 out of every 4 or 5 times I'd have to enter the code a second time to get it to work. Not a huge deal. That's why I'd only list that as the 4th reason. But there are 4 reasons why I wasn't happy with the RVLock. So I'm hoping it's all metal. I'm hoping that truly works. I'm hoping that the remote works well and doesn't activate when it's in your pocket. And I hope that it fits my door without having to make any kind of adjustments. It's supposed to, and hopefully it will. So let's dive into this box and see what we have. It's pretty heavy, so I believe it is, as they say, that it's all metal. Got an operation manual, a card with some support numbers, a quick setup guide. Looks like some type of a sticky backed gasket or foam. I don't know what that is, but we'll see in a moment. It has the batteries in here, 4 AA batteries. It has, yes, it does have 2 of these fobs. They're a little bit bigger than I thought from the photo. You just can never tell with things online about the scale of what they are. It's still fine. Because of the shape, I think it'll be comfortable to have in the pocket, as long as those buttons don't easily get pressed and lock or unlock your door inadvertently. All right. Wow, that is hefty. Has a screwdriver, a plate, a small tool, and yes, indeed, it is all metal. Even the battery cover is metal. And it's hard to tell if this is metal, but yeah, that's a apparently, at first glance at least, that is a solid quality build. And it looks like it should fit in the space, and I'm assuming it'll be a similar installation as to what I did for the RVLock.com lock. Wow, that is very different than what I have here. Looks like there are a couple of steps that we can take before we enter the process of putting it on the door. They recommend starting by putting the batteries in. So it says to unscrew and remove this back battery cover. Love it that it has a little screwdriver with it. Saves me a walk to where I store all my tools. doesn't say to put the battery cover back on yet, and there are some buttons back there that are labeled number 1 and number 2, so I'm going to leave that off. And it says press the side button to turn on the screen. There's a small button right there. It turns on the numbers, which are completely hidden when those lights are off. It's hard to know if they were even there. As you can see, it goes dark. All right, it says press the side button to turn on the screen. With the screen on, use a pointed object to press button and hold 2 until you hear 2 beeps. So that's why we didn't want to close that compartment yet. I noticed that it came with one of these little tools to do just that. It says press the H button on your fob as shown in the picture, and it's showing the top right H. Until you hear 2 beeps, repeat steps 1 through 4 to program the other fob. And then we'll hit this. Okay, and then we'll do the same for the other fob. Press the button. Okay, so that step's done. Password setup, it says, all right, it says here after pressing the side button to turn on the screen, tap the asterisk key to enter setup mode. Enter a 4 to 10 digit passcode for the upper lock, then tap the pound key. So that's nice, you have the option of going all the way up to 10 digits if you want that much more security. It's very quick and responsive. In fact, it feels like it actually presses the button before your finger makes contact with the pad. It's kind of strange. So after you set the first code, that's for the upper lock, then you set the next code for the lower lock, and that for my use, I had them both set to be the same. I'm going to put the cover, battery cover back on. Yes, even this is metal. That is really, really nice. Let's start the installation. It says to start by removing the 4 long screws and separating the 2 halves of the lock. So that would be these 4 screws right here. It also says to separate these 2 electric connectors. Okay, we got that separated. Next step is to install it. So before we can get to the installation, we need to remove what we have. By the way, I love this screwdriver. It's a Klein Tools screwdriver that can ratchet both ways, where it can stay locked, and then it has a bunch of different bits inside the handle. I had some of these from Milwaukee in the past, but those broke really quickly, surprisingly. So I found this, and I hadn't heard of Klein before. This was my first Klein purchase, but I have bought quite a few other Klein products since because I'm so happy with how this has worked out. Definitely a superior screwdriver to what I was using. Similar as to the style of the new lock we're putting in, there are 4 screws pretty much lined up in the same way. Hopefully that's a good sign that this will be a quick and easy install without having to modify anything to the door. I really don't like doing that kind of thing. Tried modifying this door a few weeks ago, just the screen door, by putting in a dog scratch guard, and it was just a nightmare. It didn't work. Go away, bug. And we'll disconnect the electrical connector to this one. This one's quite a bit bigger than the connector that's on the new lock we're installing. You can see here everything on the outside is metal, but those buttons are already worn after just a year's use. And like I said, the key fob's also broke. But the inside, I think this part is metal, just the handle itself, and the rest is plastic. Everything is plastic. We start with the exterior side, and we're going to put the strike plate on with this right out of the gate. So I'm going to have those ready. I'm going to have that ready, I should say. Yeah, it fit very well. I might have to drill out those holes a little bit more in here. So our problem is that these holes, the top hole and the bottom hole there, don't line up with where those bolts have to go through. Just a little bit off. Since the bottom hole is so close to the edge there, I have to just break it. It's not pretty, but hopefully that'll do the job. Yep. Before I do anything, let me just double check how that lines up here. That hurts. Oh, my head hurts. It says align the D-shaped hole behind the deadbolt lever with the D-shaped shaft, and then install those 4 screws. And this is where it says, if necessary, use a gasket on the front to ensure a tight fit. It's definitely snug, so we're not going to need the gasket for our door. Yeah, there's no gap there. Let's see. It's unlocked at the moment, so let's see what happens when it latches, if it latches. Since that strike plate works, I don't think I'll replace it, but I'll probably hold on to the other one in case it needs it later. And let me check the deadbolt, make sure it'll shut too. At least works freely within the door. And the inside latch moves. Yeah, that is a nicer looking lock and definitely a sturdier lock than what we had. I think I'm going to be happy with that, but I'll let you know after using it for a while. As you can see, there's no flex, and it has a good amount of depth in there for your fingers to grab. And this is metal. I think that's the only plastic piece in this. The top one, when you hit that, that is nice. I just realized it doesn't lock it from the inside, but it does from the outside. And that's a really great safety feature. One of the reasons RVLock claimed that it was intentional for them not to have both locks closed is that someone could lock you inside and that would be a safety hazard. But in this case, you can always get out. That's great. Good surprise there. Let's give it another test, and that is the pocket test. I'm putting some pressure as I sit. Nothing has triggered the button to be pushed. Let's get some other things out of my pocket. My favorite knife that my wife got me that I carry with me all the time. My car keys. That's great. I like it. I like this a lot. As long as it holds up, this is going to be an improvement. I have too many things in my pocket. I can't find the fob now. There we go. It's light, and I like it. This deserves to have more market share from what I can see so far. It's just a better looking and better functioning and better built lock than RVLock.com's. I just learned from the manual that there's a quiet mode for this, which is actually a nice thing. It currently beeps when you lock and unlock it. That's how it comes by default. But if you don't want that and you just want it to lock or unlock without any noise, it will do that. And that's more something you'd like if you're in a campground and you don't want to create noise for your neighbors, or if you don't want to announce to the neighbors that you're leaving as they hear you lock your camper and perhaps could cause some opportunity for theft. But out here, we have a stationary RV that we don't move. I'm not sure it matters, but one thing is true, you don't need the beep. It makes enough noise that you can hear it and you know it's locked or unlocked. For now, I think I'm going to leave it on. It hasn't bothered me before, but it's nice to know that I have that option. So we're done with that. Now we'll move on to the secondary door, and we're going to replace the RV lock that's on it with a standard metal lock from Cowry. And the point here is just to have a more stable metal handle. Then we don't need two that can be opened remotely anyway. And this one was just something like $20 or $30. So it was a better option. I wish I would have thought through that the first time. I never needed to. I should have just gone with one. I'm learning a lot, and I'm sharing with you what I'm learning, so hopefully you can avoid some of the mistakes that I've made. But let's take a look at this Cowry lock, and we'll get that installed as well. Now let's unbox the simple Cowry RV door handle lock. It says it fits most RV doors, and it has the same style that we have on ours, so it should be compatible. And hopefully this will be a bit faster than the last one that we installed. I'm going to try to do this one without reading the directions. I don't think I should need to. Something else that I like about any replacement lock that you get for your RV is that you usually can find one that has a more hefty key. And sometimes, especially in Michigan winters, you can have issues with your small flimsy keys bending and getting damaged. So it's nice to have a heftier one. This came with 4 keys. That's surprising. This is all metal. This is very similar to the one that came in our Keystone RV, except this has a better key and one that is not so commonly used with other RVs. So this is straightforward. I'm just going to take the other one off and put this one in. It's the season for these nasty little stink bugs. You can't go too far in our RV without stepping on one and having that unpleasant smell. It's too bad the RV lock caused some discoloration. I'm still going to replace it, but it's just too bad. Let's try the keys. It worked well. And then we'll try this top one. And that works well. I like this. Thank you for joining us today for this video. I hope it was helpful. And as you consider the best solution for your RV, I hope this gives you a little bit of insight into the options that are out there. I'll keep you updated on this as I use it to make sure that it holds up. I'll let you know if there are any issues with the fob or any issues with its stability or longevity. But so far, very happy with its features, and I feel a lot better now. And I know this will be a lot more convenient. If you'd like to see more content about living off-grid in Michigan, please subscribe. We'd love to have you join us. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time. Right, Pumpkin? Come here, girl. Come here. We'll see you next time.